Imagine this. You walk into HR for a job interview. They don't care about your skills, experience, or grind. They only care about one thing. Do you check the right diversity boxes? Now imagine HR isn't deciding your job. HR is deciding your dating life. Height must be 6 feet, minimum. Ethnicity? Sorry, Asian guys, you're not diverse enough to be exotic, but not mainstream enough to be desired. Wealth? Doesn't matter if you've got it. If you're not tall, you don't qualify. Sounds crazy, right? Except that's basically the dating market in 2025. We talk about DEI at work all the time, but no one talks about how the same mindset infects dating. Women are told they're entitled to the best. That equality means filtering out anything below Chad level perfection. And for one Chinese guy online, he nailed it. He said, DEI tells women they are entitled to 6 feet tall guys, and Chinese guys are mostly below that. Even if we have money, even if we're successful, DEI still programs them to crave the Chad. Let's dive in.
Ain't that a man?
DEI at work versus DEI in love. When corporations push DEI, the pitch sounds noble. Fairness, equality, opportunity. But in practice, it's quotas, it's box checking, it's optics over output. Now apply that same mindset to dating. Women are being told, don't settle, you deserve the best. Don't compromise, queen. And what happens? They set their filters like HR managers running a diversity audit. Height, 6 feet and up. Job, high status only. Ethnicity, whatever's trendy this week. If a man doesn't fit the approved boxes, rejected, deleted. Next.
I did go on a date with someone, and after the date, I thought it went quite well, and I was like, should we do this again? And she responded with, I don't date Asian men. And I'm like, it's funny that you tell me that after I paid for dinner.
Here's the irony. DEI claims to help minorities, but in dating, it does the opposite. Chinese, Indian, Middle Eastern men, they're still fighting uphill battles, even if they crush it in every other category, because no amount of diversity talk changes the female filter for Chad. The height rule. Let's be blunt. Height is the #1 filter in dating apps. On Tinder and Bumble, studies show women swipe right on men under 6 feet less than 15% of the time. And if you're under 5 feet 8 inches, forget it. You're invisible. That's the first thing women check. Before job, before income, before personality. Now here's the kicker. Only about 14% of men in the US are over 6 feet tall. That means 86% of men are automatically disqualified just by genetics. So what does DEI do? Instead of telling women, maybe lower your unrealistic expectations, it tells them, no queen, you deserve the NBA roster. It's like handing out job postings that say, must have 20 years of experience, an Ivy League degree, and 6 arms. Ridiculous? Yes, but that's modern dating. The Asian male dilemma. Now let's talk about our Chinese brother's point. He says, I've got money, I've got status, but because I'm not tall, DEI works against me. And he's right. Asian men face a double whammy. Media stereotypes paint them as weak or submissive. Dating apps put them at the bottom of the swipe pile.
Where do I rank Asian men generally?
That is a tough one.
I would say a 3, and it's yellow, so that's appropriate.
4, and even 5.
7.
In the dating hierarchy, Asian men were sitting at like a 2 or something back in the day, but thanks to the influx of K-pop, we're hitting the high 7s, maybe even 8s.
DEI doesn't help them. In fact, it reinforces the problem. Women walk around thinking, I deserve a 6-foot Chad, not I deserve a loyal, successful, hard-working man who will actually build a family with me. So even when an Asian man crushes it, wealth, stability, discipline, the first filter is still height. And because he doesn't hit the 6-foot diversity quota, he's left out of the so-called inclusive system. DEI isn't diversity, it's entitlement in disguise. The hidden assets. This guy said something hilarious but sad. Unfortunately for me, I'd have to go naked to show my hidden assets. But then, I'd get arrested. Translation: he could be packing wealth, success, even literal physical assets, but none of it matters if he doesn't pass the first filter. Imagine men walking around with their tax returns stapled to their chest or carrying a billboard that says, "I own 2 houses, debt-free, and I'm loyal." Would it matter? Not if he's 5 feet 8, not if he's not Chad, because women don't see assets. They see height, they see status, and DEI tells them to keep raising the bar. It's absurd. Men are being told, be a provider, build wealth, stay fit, and then they do it, only to be ignored because their vertical measurement isn't government approved. What if women had to apply DEI to dating? Now let's flip it. Imagine if Tinder ran like a DEI hiring department. You swipe right too many times on tall finance bros? Sorry, Becky, you've maxed out your Chad quota. Now you're required to match with a 5'7" Chinese engineer. Equity, baby. Too many dates with gym bros? Nope. The system auto-matches you with a truck driver from Nebraska. Representation matters. Sounds insane, right? But it's the exact same logic women cheer for in the workplace. At work, they clap for quotas. In dating, they'd riot against them, which tells you the truth. Women don't want fairness. They want entitlement. The brutal reality of entitlement. Here's where it gets dark. When DEI infects dating, it doesn't actually help minorities. It just raises the bar for women and leaves more men excluded. The average man gets punished. The loyal but short guy gets punished. The wealthy but not tall enough man gets punished. And women, they keep climbing up the ladder of entitlement until reality smacks them in the face. Because here's the thing, only 14% of men are over 6 feet. Only 1% of men are millionaires. Only a fraction of those are single, fit, and willing to commit. In other words, women's DEI fantasy doesn't exist. It's math, so they waste their 20s chasing unicorns, thinking they're too good for the average man. Then they hit 30, the wall shows up, and suddenly they're begging for the exact guy they ignored at 25. What if men stop playing along? Now let's really run the what if. What if men stopped approaching altogether? No sliding into DMs, no pickup lines, no dating apps, unless women made the first move. Suddenly, DEI collapses. Why? Because women would realize quickly that their standards don't attract the men they think they deserve. Chad isn't swiping on everyone. Chad isn't committing. Chad is busy. And the loyal, disciplined men they ignored, they're not chasing anymore. It would expose the entire entitlement system overnight. DEI in dating is a scam. It doesn't make things equal. It doesn't create fairness. It just inflates women's sense of what they deserve and sidelines millions of men who don't fit the Instagram fantasy. Asian men, short men, average men, all told they're not enough, while women pretend they're queens waiting for 6'3" Chads who don't even know their name. The brutal truth? Dating has no quotas. Nature doesn't run on DEI. Attraction isn't negotiable. But the more society pushes entitlement, the more women believe they deserve what doesn't exist. And when reality finally hits, when the dating market crashes, when fertility rates plummet, when loneliness skyrockets, the same women who laughed at short men will be asking, where did all the good men go? The answer? You filtered them out.
Management, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.